In the writer's craft, we try and live up to the name of the class. We
Sure.
engage ourselves with the challenges and the possibilities of creative writing. All of the students have really passionate attachments to literature and writing and expression in the past. And in this field, right, in creative writing, the normal sort of curricular path that students go on is they enter an English class or they enter a writing class. And within that class, you have students that are sort of checking into that discipline to see what the subject matter is like. You have students that are part of maybe an English major, and they want to sort of broaden their horizons a little bit. And then you have people like the students in my class who identify themselves as writers, who feel like they were born either with a pencil in their hand or asking for someone to give them someone. And so you take an introductory creative writing class like that, and then you know, stick with it and you advance through the progression of courses, and it's not until maybe an advanced course or your senior seminar course here at Truman where you are surrounded with 20 people who are really committed writers. JBA students get that experience very early on in the process. So I think that right away opens them up to different approaches. It creates a sort of readership that often writers don't have, young writers, people who are interested in their work, what they're up to, what they're reading, ways to challenge themselves. That's invaluable. And that's an advantage that, you know, JBA students have that I wish I had that same, you know, opportunity. One of the things that we talked about in this class was how writers are always trying to attune themselves to their surroundings. Those are physical surroundings, ways to describe the world around them. Sometimes it's a textual environment that they're in, all of the things that they're reading from their different classes. All of it's fair game, all of it's material, right? I shared the idea with the writers that, you know, if you borrow from one source, you run the risk of plagiarism, but if you borrow from many sources, you're well read, and you're drawing from this really rich, imagined experience. I think that's the best thing that can happen, that students recognize everything they read is arming them, you know, with more models, more materials to influence their voice, just so they can continue to evolve. You know, writers never stop with it, so it does wear you out, right? I mean, it's an intense schedule. But when you're in the classroom and you're, you know, interacting with writers who are really passionate about what they're doing, what they've been reading, it's infectious. It's really infectious. And it was my first year at JBA that one of the returning students told me, and this is a perfect, I think, introduction to the whole experience for faculty, for students, for staff. She said that at the end of your first week, you already start to miss it. And that you recognize while you're here that it's this really rare opportunity to have these kinds of experiences academically and socially, and you know that it's such a precious time, and I'm reminded of that every year for sure. It flies.